Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20, and welcome to episode 81 of Direwolf20's FTB Expert Sky series. I just realized I am out of power on my wireless crafting terminal, which I should probably deal with at this point. Like, how hard would it be to make a flux controller such that it can, like, wirelessly charge my inventory? Does that seem like doable? I feel like it should be, right? Flux controller. Maybe if I taught you how to make flux blocks, which I should probably just do. Though in fairness, we don't usually need a lot of those, right? Shouldn't be terrible. We'll make it by hand for a minute. So now the next thing I want to do, or the thing I want to start today's episode with, is I made induction dudes. And I'd like to make my induction port, which should be craftable now because I prepped that ahead of time. And I want to make my induction provider. So ultimately I need a 2x2 internal, right? I was thinking about maybe just throwing it on top of this whole magnet. Though in fairness, that might not be great because it's going to be a 1x1 internal if I put it in there. So I'm going to need it to be like 8 tall, and that sounds awful. I can make it 1x2 internal. And that would just need to be 4 tall internal, which would also not be awesome. I don't know. I haven't quite decided how I want this to play out yet. I could just put it elsewhere, but I kind of liked conceptually the idea of this thing living here, right? Let's just try this out. Right, and then it would be 1, 2... Yeah, no, I don't love that. I don't love that. It just looks silly that way. But because it's a 3, it totally doesn't fit right. What if we made it like this, right? That would be kind of cool. That would be kind of cool, right? Does that seem like a cool kind of like battery idea? I like that. It's a little bit silly, but like it also kind of works, no? Maybe? So I can make 1 of you now. And ultimately for a controller I'm going to need 5. So let's kick off, a little bit more. No crafting CPUs are available. We'll get there. We'll get there. Alright, you're cooking up more of those. And I'm going to have that there for the input. And then back here will be your output. And then we just need 2 more induction. I think this makes 4 at a time, so I might as well just request 1 batch, and that should be cool. Sweet. Okay, so you're cooking that up. You're making another batch of those things. And that is now formed. So you hold 6.4 trillion forge energy with a capability to export and import 209 million FE per tick. So that is cool, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm very simply going to get some flux ducts here. And now he'll start filling up with RF. Yes, true, right? Yep, there you go. And then we attach this dude, and he'll start draining RF. As soon as I say that you are in output mode. Sweet. Cool. So now you're happy. And the cool thing about this is we'll have like a giant battery of storage now. like a ridiculously stupid battery of storage that can hold lots and lots and lots. This will really hold us over until such time as, you know, I can't even imagine when we're going to need any more battery. Right? I feel like we're going to be good. Yeah? So that's cool, right? That's going to be like the battery for the rest of the series. We will never need more than 6 trillion FE stored, I assume. This is an expert pack, so you never really know. But one would hope that this lasts for a while, okay? So now you are coming along. You're making up some more dielectric paste for me because you're nice like that. That's cool. I assume that's over here, dielectric paste. So you should be in here, right, buddy? Yeah, that's the way this works. I can get a better augment than that, by the way. Upgrade that for me, would you? Dude, everything is coming together from an auto-crafting standpoint, and I love it. So now what's going to happen is this thing will basically continuously run now. No more start and stop, just constantly running. Storing a huge amount of power that we can then tap into, because my biggest challenge for this guy, for making the next tier of Ostrom, was the amount of power I needed. So, granted, this doesn't immediately solve the problem, but like as I do stuff throughout the series, rather than it start stopping, it's constantly building up and constantly filling up with more and more power that we'll be able to tap into when we need a large demand, like for that crafting, right? And that is cool, in my opinion. You know, just saying. So you almost done here, Chief? I feel like you are. And then you're stamping it, and then you're doing that, and that's cool. Much better. Okay, and then you have one more of these to make. Oh, that time it worked. Thanks, Chief. And then you guys can turn into a controller. Which will stick right there, and that can be on Direwolf 20's network. And the deal with you is you're going to do wireless charging of all the things. Cool? So now you should be wirelessly charging this guy. Enabled. Apply. And that is now being kept full. And so would this, in theory. Haha! Wireless charging for the win. Nice! Okay, next up, the thing I wanted to do at the beginning of today's episode was some yellow and some orange. And I'm going to make yellow, yellow, orange, which should be not in use at the moment, right? Yellow, yellow, orange. Borrow you for a sec. Yellow, yellow, orange. I'm going to drain you for a sec. Now, are you needed at all? I would assume no. So we can get rid of you. Okay. And now you're draining pretty quickly, but we can drain you even faster if we want. Thank you. And then you can be done, because I don't need you no more. I just want you. And then if I do this, he should be keeping that guy full. That's cool. And then over here, you're going to back stuff on chlorine eventually. You've got a little polyethylene in you. Our goal for now is to make silicon automated. So last episode, we ran into the problem that we don't have silicon automated. We're going to solve that problem now with a little bit of a shovel, which I should have one of somewhere. I don't even know why I hang on to that shovel. Right. So that guy, we're going to basically want to tap into the front of him, right? So let's get some regular old cables. Okay. So on the front here, for items, you're going to input output with auto eject on the front. Okay. And then for fluids, you're inputting on all sides. So that's cool. And for gases, I don't think we need to output gases for this particular dude. But maybe we would, maybe for gases, we would set the output to the top, right? That should be cool. Okay, so you've got chlorine backstuffing now, and then eventually this whole thing will backstuff, right? Then we can put our pattern provider here. And this is where we're going to teach you how to make silicon. Okay, so you're going to insert some silicon, some polyethylene, but not chlorine, because we've already fully automated chlorine. Cool. Now, as for silicon, you might be saying, Dyer, what about that? I've already automated it. Between episodes, all I did is I stuck a drawer right in front of this dude and configured his red to output on the front. So now he's pushing into this drawer, and I linked him to the storage controller, so now I can see the silicon in the storage system. How cool is that? Great. Okay. So now that that's automated, you go here, and now we just need to figure out how to make polyethylene, because I don't think that was on my automation list yet. And if there's anything else we need to do with that thing, cool. So you're going to be latex and liquid ethylene. And you don't know that yet? Polyethylene? Now, do we have ethylene? We have ethanol. But if I want polyethylene, you're going to have to figure out how to make it. Right? So latex we've got. Liquid ethylene, we can mix ethanol with sulfur dust to get that. And I'm probably just going to on-demand that, right? And that'll be in our mixer. So you go here, polyethylene, and here, ethanol, right? And now we've topped off what we can do in this thing, but, I mean, there's other sides to this mixer, so we'll deal with that the next time we need the mixer for something. So now if I said, hey, give me, I don't know, 100 silicon, you should be cool, right? You're going to start that process, and you're going to start mixing. And then you're going to start getting. And that's kind of cool. I'd like to think so. Nice. Okay. So he's making ethylene, and remember that's gonna store here when and if we need it to. Cool. Oh, you started doing the same thing. Yeah, I basically don't want you to ever accept whatever this stupid stuff is. I need to like void that out is what I need to do. Partition storage, that also needs to be inverted. Right? Because we don't ever want that methane stuff to be like stored. Signal them, let's go. Okay, so now both of those are excluding liquid methane, which is good. What I need to do is get that liquid methane out of here, right? So let's export bus it into a tank. That would be cool, right? Why you do me dirty like that? Okay. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that should be getting drained from here. See it draining? That's what we want. And the reason it's draining from here is because that's a high priority. Right. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. And temporarily get me some acceleration. Is that really all the acceleration cards we have? Killing me. Yoink. Sweet. So that's empty, and now there's only 10 left. So I can probably slow you down a little bit. So once we hit 11, I'll break it. Close enough. Now you should no longer have any methane in here, right? You guys are all partitioned to not accept methane, which is cool. And I'll probably just, you know what, void this methane. Because I don't really, it's fine, right? It's fine. In the event that I regret that, I mean, I have 128 buckets here-ish, right? And it's going to continuously produce more of it from here. So I'm really not too fussed about it. See? Methane happening. Works for me. And if I have to re-architect, like, that's the one thing that's, like, a little bit wonky. If I have to think of a new way to handle that, I will. All right. Meanwhile, you're still crafting and doing a great job. So I'm very pleased with all this. That is cool. And I might, though I probably don't need to, but I might tell it to, like, you know, keep in stock silicon or something. All right. So those things are all automated. And we have a huge buffer of power now, right? So that's pretty cool. Let's see what's next. I think we're still working on stuff. All right, so what I'm going to do is kick off another 50 Ostrom space plating and see how that plays out for us. Seems fine. And then the real bottleneck, like I told you guys earlier, is mostly built around the energy storage inside this thing, right? Now, the bad news is we can't really see inside the block anymore. The good news is the tooltip from whatever that is, Whala or Top, is doing a good job of telling me what's actually in there. So this will be a good test for us. But remember, like, everything we make, like, there's a lot that goes into making 50 of these things, right? Clearly. But it's all moving pretty quickly. At this point, I want to just see what my bottlenecks might be. Now, remember, we only need 600-ish of these, so we should be okay. But we're, like, really close to being able to hit up Venus. So I want to, like, let this all rip. And I'm thinking what I'm going to do off camera for a bit. I'm just going to sit here and make large numbers of these so that we can eventually get ready to build our Venus rocket ship. Cool. Now, do we still have the rocket? I don't know where it is. You would think that we would have that somewhere, right? Did I leave it on Mars? It's possible I left it on Mars. Should we go over to Mars and find out? Can't see why not. To Mars, please. Assuming this is, like, right about where I landed on Mars, right? You know what? I can probably use my portable charger now to get home, because that'll recharge itself when we have plenty of RF. I prefer that over /home. I don't like /home. I mean, don't get me wrong. I use it because, you know, the pack is clearly designed for me to use it. But I'm not a huge fan. So where is my rocket ship? It's not at the space station, right? I went to the Mars after the space station, didn't I? Yeah, I mean, that's not a great door experience, is it? I should really have this, like, underneath is what I should do. Let's rearrange this real quick while I'm here. Now that I can be a little bit less lazy about it. We'll see how long flight lasts for me, right? That'll do. What in the world was that noise? Did you guys hear that? Was that a noise that was like coming from this game, or was that something else on my computer? I legitimately have no idea what that noise was just now. It sounded like a ship flying by. I have no idea. Okay then, that's cool. So I guess it was not here that I left my rocket ship, right? Where is my rocket ship? I have no idea. Yeah, I much prefer that to slash home, right? That's so much better than slash home. Alright, let me, give me a minute to, like, figure out where my old rocket ship is. But how's this doing? Cool. Doing fine, actually. Doing really fine. So, like, all the crafting is just boom, no problem. And then this guy is doing, like, a massive burst of energy to fill him back up. So our problem before is that this took a long time to refill, and this didn't have enough of a buffer, because it's 15 million RF to craft one of those. So this thing would have like enough energy to craft one, right? And then be empty. Now we have a larger buffer, which obviously we've used a big chunk of, but that's not as big a problem as it was before. So, gonna let this run for a little bit, gonna look for my rocket ship to figure out what in the world I did with it. Unless I already broke it down, which I may have. I may have already broke it down. And then we'll come back once I'm ready for next steps. Cool. Yeah, so I think now, for example, right? See how low the power is in this thing? I bet we ran out of power here. As expected, yes, we did. So, like, this will fill up nice and quick again, but it'll still be, you know, relatively slow. But it has to get up to 15 million FE in order to finish the craft. So, yeah, that's where we stand. Now, luckily, I made this a low priority. So it'll, like, dump any excess power that we have available into this thing. So, like, it made good progress, but as predicted, like, the buffer we had wasn't large enough to finish the 50 that we need. And that's, like, you know, 100-ish, right? So if we do that, and then we come over here. So in total, remember, we need, like, a lot more than that. We need, like, 800-ish? Like, we need a lot. And then you can go in here, 40. And that'll be the next 10 of these. But in total, we need 156. So we're like 15% of the way there, if you will. So I'm debating what I want to do. So, like, right now... Is there any cool rewards coming up? Ooh, maybe. Greatly reduces the duration of negative potion effects. Mending book, luminous crystal... That'll get me a creative blaze cake, which is kind of cool. Will be consumed when used. I thought that was the whole point of the creative blaze cake. I thought the whole point of the creative blaze cake was they don't get consumed on use. I don't think we need much of these guys, right? Nothing they're exciting. Everlasting Guilty Pool, Dash Plate, Terra Steel, and Swift Alloy. A lot of that's automated, to be fair. And that's gated behind, what, 100 million FE? That's not a lot. Creative Paste, End Crystal. More Induction Cell and Provider. Holy cow. And Netherite Magnets for free. That's kind of neat. I'm just checking out, like, what some of these things... Creative Mana Cell. So, like... Why? You gave me a creative mana pool over here. Why do I need a creative mana cell over here? That's not a reward. That's here. Have more infinite. I gave you infinite mana. 3 quests later. Here's more infinite mana. I can just ingest it from the thing. It kills me. It cracks me up. Ooh, what's a legendary tool booster from Tetra? Never really got my head wrapped around Tetra. One of these days I should. Ooh, creative element containers. That does sound cool. An energy cell from A2. Alright, neat. We'll see. We'll see. So nothing like staggeringly interesting in those lines, but we will definitely be doing them. I'm just kind of like, hey, what can I work on for a little bit now that... At this stage, I think I'm mostly just waiting for power to build up. You know? And you're recharging your buffer. So you should now be at the point where you finished the 50 that I gave you. Okay. That's cool. Now, if I wanted to, I could just do 19 more. Let that rip, and that'll be another 10. of the Ostrom dudes, right? We'll just let that cook. So yeah, at this point, I think I'm just mostly waiting. I'll see if there's anything else I can come up with to do in the meantime. But I think for now, you know, we're okay for a minute. So I'll be back in a minute when, once I've basically got this all cooking. You know what we'll do? I'll just wrap up the episode here. It's a little bit early for a wrap-up, but, I mean, in fairness, I've had lots of late wrap-ups, so you guys will give me a pass on this one, right? So yeah, let's just wrap up here. And next, I'll just, like, let this process chill for, like, the next few hours. And then when I come back, what we'll do next episode is get ready to head to Venus. And that'll get me access to a bunch of cool stuff. Now, I'm pretty sure I need some fireproof stuff, right? Isn't that like an enchant that I can get? Space fireproof. That goes on our chest plate, and that's just going to need some Ostrom and some Mercury stone. I think I have to go to Mercury before I can do that. Is Mercury on the quest list of progression? Mars, Venus, Glacio, and the end. So I think we have to go to... I'm assuming that I need a tier 3 rocket to go to the inner planets. Is that right? Where's my Ad Astra book? Where indeed? You shouldn't be in there. But that's the Astroducts. Okay, cool. You that, you this. The Moon, surviving Mars, the hot planets. Now that you can fly to Venus and Mercury, your new goal is to gather enough calorite to build the ultimate rocket. Cool. However, we're going to need the jet suit as an upgraded version of the netherite spacesuit with more protection, added oxygen, and flight. Cool. Permanent fire resistance, more protection, ability to survive on Venus and Mercury. So we have to make a netherite spacesuit in order to survive on Venus and Mercury. Then we can get the Mercury rock, and we can make this an enchant. So we should definitely make a netherite spacesuit as well. We'll look at that next episode as well. For now, Dial20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I'm putting these guys on the to-do list. For now, take it easy.